versus banks, man. This video is about investment firms versus banks. So basically, there's an article called "Using Banks versus Investment Firms," and man, you really do have to use one of the. You got to put your money somewhere, right? You got to put your cash somewhere, whether it's in a bank, investment firm. But when people think about investment firm, they think more of stocks, bonds and things like that. But with banks, people just think of, mainly liquid cash. But let's check it out. In this era, sadly, banks are corrupt, unstable, offer horrible customer service, and in many cases are downright criminal. Regardless of this, you need to use banks in order to conduct business. They are necessary evils. Wow. You need banks in order to conduct business, man. He said they are necessary evils. Man. And then article states, however, shout out to Caleb Jones for this article, man. He's the one that authored this. And I'm pretty sure he's in his 40s or something. But however, he says that doesn't mean you should use them for everything. You need to use banks for the minimal functions a bank requires and nothing else. For all other financial functions, you should use credit unions, investment firms, and or your own storage. Interesting. So he's stating that you need to use banks for minimal purposes and nothing else. For all other financial functions, you should really be dealing with credit unions, investment firms, and or your own storage, be that is safe, cryptocurrency, or whatever. Interesting. See, he said this is for several reasons. First, there is a legal precedent that states that if you deposit money into your bank, that money stops being your money and starts being the bank's money. People are under the mistaken impression that money in the bank is their money. Well, actually it isn't. At least not according to the law. What the? In terms of the law, when you deposit money into a bank, you are lending that money to the bank. The money they owe you, they can legally default on if they have any problems. It's not your money anymore. So this is an argument somebody came up with regarding, him stating this stuff about investment firms versus banks. Basically, he's shitting on banks. And saluting more so the investment firms like, credit unions and stuff. He says, but the government insures my money. That's what the FDIC is for, right? The FDIC, they insure banks. They insure everybody, deposits up to, I think, $250K or something like that. But he said, somebody says, but the government insures my money. That's what the FDIC is for, right? Well, no. Banks, his response was, no, banks in the U.S. have approximately $9 trillion in insured deposits. Guess how much the FDIC has? 25 bill. Do the math. That means that the FDIC has only 0.2% needed to cover all of the deposits in all American banks. And that's just the U.S. Many other countries are far worse off. As always, trusting big government to protect you is never a good idea. Ask the American Indian if you don't believe me. Ask the American Indian. In terms of what you should use banks for, banks should only be used for business checking accounts. So if you have a business, use that as a checking account. Interesting. And any short-term personal checking accounts easily linked to business accounts. So I guess if your business account is linked to a checking account, that's it. You should not use a bank for anything else. Most credit unions. All right, so now he shitted on banks. Now we go into credit unions and investment firms. Most credit unions and investment firms won't let you start business checking accounts there. So for your business checking account, you'll need to use a bank. So basically for business accounts, you got to use a bank. For business accounts, you got to use a bank, man. And you can also set up a personal checking account at that bank if it makes it easier to withdraw or manage funds from your business bank account. However, I recommend that you don't leave any money in a bank for any reason for longer than about 6 months. Consider bank money as a very temporary holding bin until you either spend it or transfer it into short-term savings, like to pay taxes or some other near future event, longer-term savings or investments. Wow, so he's saying you shouldn't leave money in a bank for longer than about 6 months. Wow. Now he says for savings accounts, don't use a bank. Use a CD or similar at a credit union. A money market account at an investment firm like Vanguard, Fidelity, or Charles Schwab, and so on. So he's saying for savings accounts, you should use a CD or you shouldn't use a bank for a savings account, he's saying. But you should use a CD or similar at a credit union, Fidelity, or if you consider it more, or if you consider it to be more speculative, wait, let me see. Or possibly you could use a CD at a foreign bank outside of your country where you can get much higher interest rates. Good option, but complicated because, it's out of the country. The bottom line is that long-term money should never be sitting in a bank. Your money is safer and will multiply faster if you keep it out of a bank. Just use a bank for operating cash and transactions. Wow, just use a bank for operating cash and transactions. So, man, I'm going to come back for part 2 of this video. We'll talk about the comments to this, article about pretty much is why investment firms, credit unions are realer than banks for the most part. Mahalo.
No splash, ain't no to me. No splash,